Hello, and thanks for joining us for another episode of The Director's Cut, brought to you by the Directors Guild of America, where each episode we bring you a fresh and insightful interview featuring one of the film industry's top directors, conducted by one of their peers. You can subscribe to our podcast on Google Play Music, iTunes, Stitcher, or on our SoundCloud page at soundcloud.com/thedirectorscut. And if you're enjoying The Director's Cut, please take a moment to like, share, or comment. We love hearing your feedback. This episode takes us behind the scenes of the newest film from directors Valerie Faris and Jonathan Dayton, Battle of the Sexes. Set against the backdrop of the sexual revolution and the rise of the women's movement, the film tells the story of the historic 1973 tennis match between Billie Jean King and Bobby Riggs. As they participate in the most-watched television sports event of all time, King struggles privately to come to terms with her sexuality, and Riggs battles both family and gambling issues. In addition to Battle of the Sexes, Ms. Faris and Mr. Dayton's credits include the feature film Ruby Sparks, the pilot for the television series Heistin, episodes of the series Mr. Show with Bob and David and The Cutting Edge Happy Hour, and numerous Grammy Award-winning music videos. They were nominated for the 2006 DGA Award for Outstanding Directorial Achievement in Feature Film for Little Miss Sunshine. Following a recent screening of the film at the DGA Theater in Los Angeles, Ms. Faris and Mr. Dayton spoke with director Nicole Holofcener about filming Battle of the Sexes. During their conversation, they discussed the real-life Billie Jean King's involvement in the film, why they believed that using the film language of the 1970s was necessary to tell the story, and the process of working as a director team.
Thank you. Hi. I'm not really a moderator. I'll do my best. I can talk.
Yeah, I think you can.
Okay.
You're a writer.
I have my notes. What a great movie, huh?
Thank you.
Great movie. I hope you liked it. All right, so the directing team. I did, before I came here, I said, what movies are playing near me? And it came up, your movie did, and you were the only director.
Oh, really?
You got to talk to someone.
Okay, that's because that always used to happen to me because his name was listed first.
So they just drop off.
On this movie, we switched the order.
Right.
So, yeah, they dropped the second director.
Right. It don't matter.
Yeah.
Like
and
whatever.
Somebody else. I don't know.
I'm not sure what everyone else wants to hear, but I'm going to kind of ask the questions that I'm interested in. And maybe they'll be what you're interested in. I'm fascinated with the fact that you two are a couple. Couple. I want some, details. Do both of you go up to the actors? Do you take turns? Well, answer me.
See if we have the same answer, I guess.
I should go in a soundproof booth, and then we'll come out.
And, do you plan it?
Well, we have to plan a lot, and so, which is fun because, we love what we do, as we all do here, and so we get to talk about it anytime we want, which is mostly a good thing.
Right.
But, sometimes when you're brushing your teeth and you have an idea and you want to talk about it, your partner may not be
It's like
eager.
Enough already.
Yeah.
Right?
But to talk about speaking with actors, we, we'll talk about something quickly after a take, and then usually one of us goes and talks to someone kind of representing the collective thinking, because the big thing we don't want to do is give anyone contradictory direction.
But I'm sure that's happened. Not that much?
Not that much.
So you guys huddle.
We huddle first, but, usually by the time we're on set, we've tried to sort of iron out and we've tried to sort of run through every scene and make sure we're really on the same page on, so we look at the scene from various aspects and kind of sometimes we act it out together and, see what it feels like.
Not
So-
in front of them.
Not
No,
in front of them.
no. At home
Definitely
in
like
our
that.
studio, we have a little studio.
Yeah, we
and-
show them how it's done.
Yeah.
No, but it is important that we try and understand what we're asking our actors to do. We're not writers, and so we don't have that period to explore the material. So we usually take a lot of time when we get a script and just understand it as deeply as we can, and start to kind of make it our own. And part of that process is acting and looking at staging and how we
like break down the scene. We kind of do our homework.
Can you ever just say, well, we didn't write it, so I'm not sure what this means? No?
Try not to say that. Usually we've met with the actors and, discussed if they have any issues with stuff. So, really we have to work fast because we shot this in 35 days and, there's just not a lot of time to.
I just love that sound in the audience. There's no place in the country where we can have that sentence and then hear
have
this
it
collective.
register.
Yeah. What if you say you
Thank
shot
you.
it in like 80 days? You shot it in 80 days. Would you still go,
Yeah, I would go,
that's too much.
too
Yeah, it's fun to work fast, and it keeps you from like stopping and talking a lot, which I think is not good for anyone. You don't want to theorize with an actor. You want to kind of get to the heart.
Keep them out of their head is what we. So we try not. Neither. That's one thing we both do is not say too much. Try to give them the simplest direction and just keep doing it.
yeah, I've seen actors, they go like,
Yeah.
like, what do you want? Faster.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it can be so much simpler like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were
Did
there
that
laughs
answer
on
your
the set?
question?
No, not at all.
Okay. I figure.
And did you have laughs on the set? Honestly,
There was one like laugh.
can't all be fun.
Yeah, it wasn't like, and we never really.
Laugh.
We don't laugh a lot. Yeah. We're
I mean,
serious.
our sets are very happy and sort of positive, but they're not parties.
Yeah.
because
we have to move quickly and.
Actually, when Steve was doing his naked scene,
Yeah.
that
was
funny.
funny.
It was
It was-
hard not to laugh.
It was the
because-
last
and he kept
shot
making
of the whole
jokes
film.
about where
And
his balls were hidden, and I don't know. He just kept making these.
Did he just expose himself over and over? I'm sure no.
No, he
'Cause
was
it kinda
very
gets-
modest.
Okay.
But that definitely was like a funny day. And that was our last shoot day. So
That's good.
we laughed a lot there. And then Emma and I had one time where we both just lost it, but it was because she was carrying this funny tennis bag that looked like a turkey. I don't know. It's throughout the movie.
two
It has
rackets
two
and-
rackets sticking out the back. It's really
right?
awkward.
Did you see the turkey?
Yeah, and she was walking down the hallway with it on her back at one point. It was sort of a serious scene, and I just burst out laughing. So
Yeah.
that
But
that was it.
Yeah.
There were scenes that we added, and I don't know why this comes up under the question of laughs, but the elevator scene where they're going up, and a lot of times
Wait, the hand-holding scene or the ice bucket scene?
no the hand
kissing,
holding,
hand-holding.
Okay.
the two women
Kissing, right.
holding hands, yeah, and.
That was a barrel of laughs. Yeah.
Well,
Where
no,
are you going?
but no. Well, no. Originally, we planned just to have them hold hands, and then, like the 8th take, we said, on this one, we want you to kiss while we're rolling, and they were like, "Oh my God," because their kissing scene hadn't happened yet, and they were kind of nervous. So this was going to be the first time they kissed, and it was just
You surprised them.
we surprised them, and it was really beautiful and kind of exciting as a.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell the story. And then after
Oh.
after they kissed, Emma said she felt this tingling in her mouth, and she thought, "Oh my God, maybe I'm gay." And then she realized that Andrea her mouth was loaded with Orajel because she had a toothache,
and that's why
and it numbed Emma's mouth.
That's
And
hilarious. Because that's a sure sign that you're gay. Your mouth
Yeah,
goes
mouth
when you
gets
tingle,
numb,
that's
that's
how you
it,
know.
you know.
Just,
That's so funny. Wow. Okay.
And she had Orajel throughout all the love scenes. Kinda.
Really?
Yeah, she.
okay, let's not.
Anyway, that's kind of
She
a
got
bummer.
going in
That's
there.
not
Yeah,
professional.
that's
Okay.
not really.
All right. Did you guys care about tennis before you made this movie?
What do you mean care about? Like,
Like,
were we interested?
do you play
in tennis?
tennis? We're like, oh my God, a tennis movie.
By that measure, we were not the best people to make this movie. I mean, we wanted to do tennis justice, and we play tennis, but we're not, big.
That's not
it's not
why
about
we
tennis.
We're basketball
anyway.
people, but
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We didn't make it because of the tennis, but we did actually want to try to make a beautiful tennis movie. Like we did want to honor the
right?
tennis,
Yeah.
honor the sport, because we looked at a lot of tennis movies and there weren't a lot of great ones. So, where the tennis looked good, like good playing. So that was important to us to have good playing.
Because if you don't buy it, uh-oh.
It's Billie Jean King
Yeah.
and Bobby Riggs, who were
Yeah.
both like world champion players,
Right.
and we didn't want to have people faking it.
Yeah.
And,
So when I did see what were probably doubles, weren't there faces on the doubles? That was crazy. How'd you do that? Sorry.
No, we can talk about that here.
I mean,
but,
you guys probably wondered, are those doubles?
But,
right?
One of the reasons why there aren't great tennis movies is because of the obvious problem of actors not being able to be great at the game.
Right.
But today we can use a little digital magic and put someone's face on.
That's fantastic.
But the key here was that Emma had to work out and transform her body so that after the play is over, she has to look the same.
and carry herself like Billie Jean. So she really studied the original match and watched Billie Jean, at that age, at 29, just kind of getting a sense of
the
walk,
right.
and her whole, sort of game face and all of that.
But she did play tennis.
You know,
Both
and
of
she-
them did, right?
Well,
in the
who?
movie, Emma.
Emma played some tennis, but
I wouldn't-
but
She served. I saw her serve. Okay, never mind.
She did do certain moves that
but
were
there were different
attached to
transition
tennis.
periods to the double. But
Right.
But I don't want to downplay how much she had to do in order to get to where we needed to go. And
Sure.
But we had like real pro tennis players that were, really great at modern tennis, today's tennis, but they had to they spent 3 months learning how to play like Billie Jean and Bobby Riggs with a wooden racket and an aluminum smaller racket.
Oh, really?
And
It's different tennis
it's very
now?
different,
I
very
clearly
different.
big tennis person.
But
No.
we also just made a decision early on to cover tennis the way that we normally experience it on TV, so that rather than chop it up and get cinematic, we wanted that sequence to be about the public view of the game at that moment. That throughout the film we're moving between the public and the private, but when she comes out of the tunnel for the next
It's a spectacle.
15 minutes,
Yeah.
you're in her, or you're in the public view of what's happening to both of our leads, and we wanted to kind of build the tension, denying you the private until we cut to the locker room and she's alone, and then we return to the private.
That's such a beautiful scene. In fact, the people I saw it with, we all had very different interpretations of why she was crying on the bench.
Oh.
And I bet everyone else does too.
Well,
right?
I mean, that's the beauty of
Yeah.
I think Emma's performance
Yeah.
is that it's you can project, and I think we probably have even different thoughts
And
about.
Emma might have a
Well,
completely
no,
different thing.
and
right?
it was, I
Yeah.
mean, she just gave such an interesting, performance there that.
But, when we watched the original match, it was so interesting after Billie Jean won, when you saw her face, all the cameras are on her, and she didn't look happy. And, she said that period of time in her life was one of the most confusing times. She was sleeping like 4 hours a night. It was just such a challenging time. So, it was just more interesting to play the victory the way that I think it felt for her, because in some ways, even though she won the match, there was more attention on her than ever, and so she had to be even more in the closet.
Right. Uh-huh. Wow. That's. Did you guys talk about it with Emma? Like why she was? Yeah.
We talked a lot about just that period, what that period was like for Billie Jean, and we talked with Billie Jean about it. But it was harder for Billie Jean to return to that time. It was just such an unhappy time in her life, and so that was probably one of the most difficult things about doing the movie was having her, sometimes weigh in on it, but at the same time, it was very hard for her to comment on kind of the emotional stuff and her what she was going through in her marriage. The one thing she said is, we just didn't talk about any of it.
Her and her husband?
Yeah.
So I was very intrigued by how you shot the movie.
That, especially in the beginning, it's like you don't cut wide, it seems like, for a long time, and it's a lot of frenetic playing, and the movie had a lot of that, and it seemed like most of it is handheld. Is all of it handheld? No.
No, I mean,
You just had a drunk DP.
Yeah. We study. I mean, we kind of grew up and fell in love with film in the 70s, and we wanted the film to feel as if it was made during the 70s, not like this nostalgic look back at sort of how quaint the styles were, but we wanted to use the film language of the time so that the film was a contemporary view of these events as seen through what would have been done at the time. So we looked at, Altman films and Cassavetes. We looked at Killing of a Chinese Bookie and Nashville. And Linus, our DP, we had a lot of fun talking about how we could do continuous shots with these beautiful zoom lenses. Linus searched the country for these very rare extra long zooms, and
you could get away with using a zoom because it's the 70s.
It's the 70s. I mean, that was the language, and it's a fun thing to, we felt like this was the time to.
Right.
And we even changed the logos. Fox was great to let us, because now logos are computer generated and big moves, and the two logos that were supposed to be in the front of the movie had these very modern feeling. So they allowed us to do period.
And we shot on film, too.
Yeah, 35?
35.
Are you very happy you did that?
Yes.
I'm sure you're DP.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun actually having to reload and, not just
actually check the gate.
Yeah, not running endlessly and kind of, I don't know, there's just something about that discipline that I really like.
That's great. The music, did you know what you wanted while you were shooting or editing room or last minute? So great, the soundtrack and the score.
We thought we knew what we wanted, but we had, it took us a while to find it. Then when we hired Nick Patel, who did the score, he kind of moved into our edit room, and we worked with him for 3 months. So it was really amazing.
Wow,
We'd sort of go back and forth between the edit room and his room, and sometimes the music would influence how we'd cut a scene, and he's really incredible.
Did you have a music supervisor?
We
must
did.
have had
Stephen
one.
Baker, a good friend of ours, and
But we began by taking the original broadcast and cutting it down to about 10 minutes, and then we put music to it. So that long before we shot, we could just explore, because we knew that you were going to see the fall of Bobby and the rise of Billie Jean, and we wanted to just understand, like, how much is this a sad story, how much is this a victorious moment, and just trying to find the right. So that dialogue began, or that conversation began before shooting, and then Nick came in and.
So what is playing during the match?
It's all
Different
score.
things.
It's all score
It's
that
all
Nick
score.
did,
and Howard Cosell, who,
and that was
if you remember,
That was hilarious.
Howard, yeah,
that was
Oh my
the
God.
other thing that
shocking.
Yeah.
the original script is about a page and a half for the match, and so we had to really flush that out. And Howard was this key element, and we wrote his family and said, could we please use his image and his voice, because
It's
he's
that time.
he's
so iconic.
he's the voice of that period, and
Yeah.
and they were very
And
kind
he was
to
like
let us.
a liberal.
If that's a liberal,
Yeah.
we're in trouble.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Yeah, we are in trouble.
And yeah, we are. And his arm is around.
Rosie Casal.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly that way, like his
hand.
child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little Rosie Casal,
Yeah.
he calls her, and
Yeah.
and little lady, and there's so many kind of subtle digs. Like, when she comes into the stadium, he says if she let her hair grow and took off her glasses, she'd look like someone vying for a Hollywood screen test. And here she is, like a world champion, and that's the first thing.
As
he
if that's
says
what she wants.
to all the the viewer.
Right.
Yeah, like that's a compliment.
Yeah. That's pretty sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you had a lot of contact and a relationship with Billie Jean, and Bobby Riggs is dead. And is his wife still alive? Elizabeth Shue's character?
No, she died before he did.
Oh, really?
But his coach,
yeah.
who's
The blonde
depicted
guy
in the movie,
yeah.
Eric Christian Olsen plays him, and he was a consultant on the movie, and he worked with Steve for 4 months on his tennis game, and then also kind of telling stories about Bobby and showing him like scrapbooks and just
That's great.
He got sort of steeped in Bobby history, and Bobby was such a fascinating, really eccentric, very smart guy, and so it was kind of hard not to love him when you got to know, like,
Really?
this guy was his best friend too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, I remember this when it happened, and I mean, he was just despicable. Everybody hated him. We all wanted to see him lose. But in your movie, you made him a real human being. And was that a movie choice, or are you hiding the fact that he was really awful? I'm sure they're going to be really honest right now about that.
I mean,
What'd you cut out?
No. I mean, it was very important to not make this a binary, argument, and not to have pure villains, particularly Bobby, who, was a complex character. I mean, he was a chauvinist. There's no denying that he had sort of traditional views.
It wasn't just for show.
But it was for show. He knew, he watched Muhammad Ali at the time and saw how Muhammad Ali had this ability to create interest in his boxing matches by his banter. And so, like, the idea came to him that if I
can exploit this women's lib thing. That's really what he was doing. And, Billie Jean, what's great about her is her whole, approach to life is respect your opponent. And if you respect them, that's how you beat them. And so, her idea is if you respect them, you know them, you can have a conversation with you, you engage with them like she does, say, with Jack Kramer, or, instead of just calling people names or taking sides, she really goes and engages with them. And she's still that way. She doesn't like to alienate people, but I think she's had a lot of success because she works that way. So.
And that's why we cast Bill Pullman in that role, because we, again, wanted to have someone who is not immediately the bad guy. And everything he said there, all that stuff before the match was verbatim of what.
Wow. What? Would you have been able to make this movie without Billie Jean's approval? And was she on the set? And what else did I miss? How involved?
The process.
During the filming.
Well, we did have her approval, obviously, and that was a early move. The first move was to get her approval. I don't know legally. I mean, we didn't have to get Bobby's estate to approve, so we might have gotten by. But certainly for our purposes, we wanted as much contact as we could with both parties. But having said that, though, after working on the script with Simon, we all took a little break, and Billie only visited the set once because we needed. Billie Jean at 73 is this evolved, very wise, very together activist. But in 1973, she was deeply confused and troubled and, amazing, but a different person. So we asked that we just kind of keep her at a certain distance until we finished, and then she came and saw cuts. And the best thing though was when she finally got to see it with an audience, and then she could see that it was.
I mean, we knew that she'd be really helpful in like releasing the film if she was behind it, and but she's so busy anyway. So there was really only one day she could even make it to the set. So that kind of worked in our favor. But I think for Emma particularly, it was just too scary to have Billie Jean watching her play her. So for every reason, it was better to create some separation. But she has been incredible in. For
she liked the
press,
movie,
and she likes it now.
Thank goodness.
Yeah,
what if she didn't? That
happy.
would have been so horrible.
That's what we lived for 2.5 years, worrying that she might not be happy with it.
Yeah.
And that was very stressful. Yeah.
I also worry if I hadn't written the script, that I was doing it justice, that I just adapted a novel and shot the movie, and I was so afraid the novelist would be upset with what I did. I don't think he is. He came to the set a lot.
He
but
did. Well,
that was okay.
Sort of different, maybe, because
I don't know, because he was really cool. I'm just excited to be on a movie set. So that was good.
Billie Jean is also, she gets bored really easy if she's not doing something.
Yeah.
So like sitting around on a set, like I think she would have been way too bored.
Had a movie about her been made before that I'm not aware of?
There was a TV movie, and then there's
Showtime.
Countless documentaries. So
who was in the TV movie?
Holly Hunter plays her.
You're kidding.
Yeah, and
Ron Silver.
Ron Silver plays Bobby Riggs, and
It was called When Billie Beat Bobby.
they kind of give away the ending. It's very
I know.
weird.
I was so surprised.
Most of you
I don't know.
Did most of you know who was going to win, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you come to cast Emma and Steve and Sarah Silverman?
They begged.
We've been wanting to work with
We
Steve ever since Little Miss Sunshine, and this was just like the perfect opportunity. And then we had talked to Emma about a different film a few years ago, and again, really hoped that we could find the right thing. So this was just that was our first move, actually, because there were 2 other Battle of the Sexes projects in the works a couple of years ago, because I think everyone was anticipating the election and kind of felt like it was time to tell this story again. So by casting Steve and Emma, we kind of put a pin in the other projects.
And Gladys Heldman, who Sarah Silverman plays, was a really fascinating character, and we met and got to know her daughter a little bit. And when you see pictures of her and you read about her, Sarah seemed like the perfect person to play her. And when we told her daughter that Sarah was going to be playing her mom, she was like, that's perfect.
Oh, good.
So that was, and
There were so many fun roles in this to cast, and we just, it was just
like Ted Tinling is a fascinating character who Alan Cumming plays. He was a British World War II spy, and a tennis historian, and extremely flamboyant, like much more so than
he was
the way
6'5", so he was
He's
even
6'5".
Yeah, he
taller,
was.
greater.
Wow.
Someone
scale.
complained that said we should have put Alan Cumming in platforms. He wasn't tall enough.
Oh, well,
but-
because that's really important, the size.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes,
Yes.
this was
Should
originally.
I repeat this
Oh,
question?
yes, sorry.
Danny Boyle was originally attached to this. He's one of the producers. And how did you make it your own as opposed to Danny Boyle's?
Yes, he and Simon developed it initially, and then Trainspotting 2 came together, and he went to do that, and they came to us with the first draft, and it was quite different, and it was a Danny Boyle movie, and it was weird because when I recently saw Trainspotting, it was like the weirdest thing, because I kind of could see our movie playing at the same time, or his version of this movie, and it was very different, but there were many more characters and a lot more pop culture, but we, I
think mainly we just wanted to focus in on the stories of people that, we chose to focus on. There were maybe almost twice as many characters and just so much going on. And so we just felt like we wanted to focus in particularly on Billie Jean and Bobby's, but sort of the triangle between Billie Jean and her husband and Marilyn and Bobby and his wife.
It was interesting because it had a definite European sensibility, and having lived in America during the 70s, we recall the homophobia, which really wasn't in the script, and we were very interested in telling the story of a woman who is married and famous and on the world stage, who comes to realize that this is not her truth, and makes this move to.
That was in there, but there was just a lot more. It was
sort of buried.
I have one other question. Did you have to cut out a lot, and why, and what?
They cut out 4 scenes.
But we moved scenes around. I mean, because we had 35 days and there were no reshoots, we tried to make those decisions early. And there was a whole 15 pages of setup to the Margaret Court Bobby match, and we took those out.
It meant going out to the desert and shooting for 5. It was a lot to shoot, and
cut it out before you
cut it out. We cut it out at the script
Good
stage.
Move.
Yes.
Yeah, no, and then
we saved a lot.
And then certain scenes, it was very interesting to see how the Gamblers Anonymous scene was originally our kind of introductory scene to Bobby. We saw him in the office, and then he goes to Gamblers Anonymous. But because we didn't know him well at that point, the Gamblers Anonymous scene didn't register in the same way.
Right.
So when we moved it much later, later in the film,
and you already love him by then,
and
so
it's just more meaningful and entertaining.
Yeah, I think we have to stop.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Oh.
Well, I just want to say
so
thank
much,
you all
guys.
for coming. It's
Yeah,
so nice to see it in a theater, the big screen. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nicole.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for listening to another DGA Q&A. Don't forget, you can check out past episodes of The Director's Cut wherever you listen to podcasts. As we get deeper into awards season, we'll continue to give you director-focused conversations about the fall's most anticipated films, so be sure to subscribe to our podcast to stay up to date on these great discussions. And if you're enjoying the podcast, please like, share, and leave us a review. We'd love to hear your feedback. Thanks again for listening, and have a great week. This podcast is produced by the Directors Guild of America. Music is by Dan Wally.